Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm reading that
Cut that out, that part.
Georges St Pierre.
What about my good friend?
Has a press conference scheduled for tomorrow. If you're listening to this, it is tomorrow, Thursday, where he's reportedly going to announce his retirement from MMA.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah,
That's wild. Is that fact?
I heard some rumblings about that.
No, is this when is that? When is he having this press conference?
I think it's tomorrow afternoon. I can double check when it is, but it's tomorrow. It's
when they
today.
hear this,
it's
going to be today.
Yes.
So we did. All right. So we did not hear the press conference yet, obviously.
Right, but from all reports, and Ariel Helwani's reported, and a lot of different people that he is going to announce.
Well, let me tell you, if it's true, how old is George?
He's 37.
Well, oh, is he really? Well, that's smart. Listen, I mean, I think George. Oh, first of all, George is going to go around down as one of the greatest ever. I mean, look what George done.
He was only beat twice.
Damn right he was.
Yeah, I set them up sometimes.
Yeah.
Could you look to your left for a second? All right. Fuck, man. I had my hand up for 5 minutes. I'm sorry, everybody. You can't see that at home. He said he got beat twice, and I had my hand up for a high five, and he was looking everywhere but me. Anyway, I had to let people know my fucking embarrassment. So, Georges St Pierre, let me tell you, people don't even make a big deal about him winning like that middleweight title. It's almost like, all right,
Yeah.
what's next? What else happened?
Like it's nothing.
I mean, the guy came back and beat Michael Bisping.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the guy's definitely a legend. 3 people beat him. I think you forgot about Captain America. He was.
Oh, I think you might be right there.
Yeah, he beat him too.
How dare I forget
Yes, that was in Winter Soldier.
that? It sure was.
He played a savate fighter,
Yeah.
a French villain in the Marvel universe.
That's right. I remember that.
I love the song "Samurai" that he came out in our first fight. It's a French rap.
Oh, right.
Just
yeah.
if you put in YouTube "Samurai," you can see that. I don't know the words, obviously, but it's so fucking cool. I remember being in the cage, hear that thing come on. I remember thinking, that's a fucking cool song, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, Samurai, play Samurai. We can't do that.
But people can look it up. That's all right.
People look it up. All right. Well, listen, Georges St Pierre, I wish you the very best. I'm surprised I haven't ran into him. Every time I stop in this, he seems like he's always at Henzo's, and every time I stop in, I never see the guy.
He was there last week.
Well, I wasn't.
Yeah, so.
I'm supposed to be. I think I'm hanging out with Henzo next week.
Oh.
George makes his official retirement.
Today's like a dream come true, It's always the goal for all the fighters to make it big, make money, finish healthy, and retire on top. And it doesn't get better than this. He's a two-division champion. He's beaten every man he's ever faced. He's avenged every loss. He came out with his health. The relationship is great. Sometimes when you make it big, things go in different directions, but we always stay true to one another, to the team, to the guys we train with, to our coaches, to the staff. I mean, this is a storybook ending. It was just a perfect career.
How long have you known that this was his intention?
A long time. It's been a long time coming. I think that George has been on the fence for a long time also. I think he's got mixed feelings always, but it's time. It's really time, and going back right now, it would just be crazy at this point. He's nearing 40. He is in great shape. He is incredible health. He is, his skills are better than before. But it's time.
Jeff,
I like it.
is he the greatest of all time?
I think he is, but, I think you can certainly make strong arguments for all those other guys. John Jones has certainly been the most dominant guy, but then you go back and you see Anderson Silva. And then, certainly Fedor gets some people excited. I would say those three and George are the big ones. Those are the four easy arguments for any one of those guys. You also, I guess Demetrius is another one, but I'm just going to leave it with those four. And so the way I'm going to arrive at George being number one is by process of elimination. We can cite all of their greatness, each one of those guys, George, John, Anderson, Fedor. Make a list. You'll see a lot of greatness right down that list. But now let's eliminate some stuff. John Jones, PED drug test failures. Anderson Silva, PED drug test failures. Let's push them to the side. Fedor Emelianenko, it's a little bit sketchier with him, but the fact that he never fought in the UFC, I think, is a mark against him. I do recognize that at the time he was coming up in the sport, the Pride Fighting Championship had some tremendous heavyweights. But, unfortunately for him, the UFC is and has been the major league of mixed martial arts for a long time. And unless you fight in the majors, if you don't compete in that league, you're always going to have some people questioning, how great you are. And so, I'm just going to sort of push him aside as well. George doesn't have very many negatives. I mean, it took him 2 times to get to the title, but the second time he fought Matt Hughes, he took him out in a really beautiful way. Then he has his big, failure against Matt Serra, but he comes back and smashes him. Then he goes on and even 9 title defenses. Then when he walks away, he comes back 2.5 years later, was it, to take out Bisping? I mean, again, you can make arguments for all those guys, but I think that when you add up the positives and then also take away the negatives, I think you end up with Georges St Pierre.
I agree with you. I think the fact that he avenged his only 2 losses helps. I think the fact that he has no asterisks helps. I think the fact that he walked away twice as champion helps. To me, it's kind of a, I don't know, it's a bit of a no-brainer. If you want to say, all right, John has never lost, fine, but it's hard to overlook that other stuff, right? I mean, I'm not talking about the Matt Hamill fight. I'm talking about the second DC fight and UFC 200. It probably comes down, but you know what? I wouldn't hate you if you say it comes down to DC, GSP, or Demetrius. Although Demetrius lost to Henry Cejudo, so I think he kind of gets excluded.
And DC lost to Jones twice. I mean,
right.
once not officially, but I mean, you could certainly make all those arguments. Any one of those people.
The cleanest, I don't mean clean in terms of PDs, like the cleanest argument is George's, right?
Absolutely. There's no question. And, this probably shouldn't count, but I would be hypocritical if I didn't acknowledge that it at least counts a little bit for me. George has just been a gentleman of the game, and there's something about that
should that factor in though?
It probably shouldn't factor in. It probably shouldn't factor in, but there's something about watching a guy who's gone about things the right way all the way through his career. And Johnny Bones is. I've had great interactions with John over the course of the years. Anderson Silva as well. I haven't actually had the opportunity to interview Fedor ever, but certainly I've understood he's always been a gentleman as well. But George, there's something, there's some intangible thing about George that I think just makes him special.